Hey, what's going on, everybody? So glad to be back in business, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today on this slightly afternoon breaking Bitcoin market update. Today is Tuesday, January the 8th, guys. Thank you so much for all your patience, bearing with me as I was getting a lot of stuff in my life worked out. Kind of just a busy day, honestly, over the last few weeks for me. You know, obviously, it's way past the holidays. No excuses, guys, but the reality of the situation is just a lot of stuff going on in the real life situation going on here. Okay, and then this morning, you know, I had everything set to do the morning show at 11 a.m. and I wake up to my ISP for reasons unknown to me, although I'm sure known to certain select key members at the CIA, throttling my upload speed once again. So congratulations to the NSA for throttling me yet once again. However, they could not keep me down. Did some low-key bungalow action and hopefully have got my upstream up enough to do the show. I was actually just about to record a pre-recorded market update for you guys so that at least I could push out content for you, because I am getting back into the swing of this. Took about a 4 or 5 day sabbatical, so I apologize for being away from the markets for so long. But we're going to get right back into this, guys. Let's start off. Let's say hi to the chat. Let me get the chat popped up here and say hello to all you wonderful people. What's going on? Jurgen Ernst. Oh, brother, where art thou? Or where have you been anyways? Hey, man. Hopefully I explained that very well. Clipson Plexterfield. Hey, what's going on, man? Xantimus Crypto. Jay Constant. What's going on, man? Gabe Anderson. Good to see you guys back in the chat again, guys. So let's get right into this. Let me pull up the chart. And let's go first to the weekly time frame. All right, as we always are akin to do. Now, I had pushed these updates out to the trading group just this morning. Always take care of them first. Sorry, guys. So the weekly analysis. Okay, so Bitcoin clearly still trading in the resistance of the bearish order block. So nothing really has changed. I know people are pretty excited for an upthrust movement here. We'll get into that, how this actually might play out in the short term over the next few days. Daniel Clerks, Hans. Oh God, I'm gonna. I can't do last names, man. Hans, hey, what's going on, man? Solver Cap, hey, what's going on? Daniel Clerks and Cola, good, welcome to the chat. All right, so again, so Bitcoin still on the weekly time frame, looking at spot price here, still trading in the resistance of the bearish order block. As we can see, if we zoom in here a little bit, we do have that bearish equilibrium block right here that we're still trading in on the weekly time frame overall, obviously, and all the other micro time frames as well. Bear with me. Very low volume, honestly, on these last 2 weeks. This is not a very convincing case for the bulls, unfortunately. Now, we have been able to put in a higher weekly high relative to the last weekly high, and a higher weekly low relative to our last weekly low. However, excuse me, let me rephrase that. We've been able to put in a higher weekly close and a higher weekly low, okay, relative to the last ones. Unfortunately, that doesn't really mean anything, okay? That doesn't really mean anything until we are actually able to break out of this resistance bearish order block on the longer time frames. Okay, so December was a good month for Bitcoin. Obviously, we all know that now. The time is coming, whether the bulls have to prove to us that we are going to get an upthrust here, an actual rally, as opposed to just a brief relief rally, lower highs, and then just back down into the overall dominant trend, which is still to the downside. The dominant trend has not been broken. The month of December has not changed that. So, unfortunately for the bulls, they still have not proved their ability or the impetus to give follow through to a genuine breakout. This is still in the realm of relief rally. Now, a weekly open and close, again, you can be more speculative, you can be more aggressive and just wait for the weekly open above the bearish order block. If you want to jump on a directional long position, that's fine. Again, we've talked about upside targets again previously. We get into that when we get into the BitMEX chart. But a true weekly open and close above the bearish order block for me would then lead me into more bearish territory. So let's actually look at our volume profile here. There we go. Okay, so look where we are in relation to the volume profile as well. All right, so when we did put in our previous weekly equilibrium block, our current bearish order block right here, that was posited in pretty much at the top bar in the HVN right here. We have this HVN level of consolidation that we have been trading in over the weekly time frame for pretty much the entire month of December, except for these slight dips that did have a pretty massive quick recovery on the daily time frame as well, dipping down into the lower area of the volume profile right here. Did not actually, if we look at the lows, we did actually have a slight stop loss hunt down into an LVN. And that is typical to see when you're looking for stop loss hunting. Again, that's institutional order flow at work. You have to realize where are a lot of your stop losses going to be placed for individuals that are trying to go long. Where are a lot of short orders going to be placed? Why? Because retail traders are trained, traditional traders, especially those who are retail, are trained that if price makes a lower low, then you should be going short, because that means that you have broken the market cycle and you're going to shit the bed. Alternatively, if you are already in a long position, where are you most likely going to have your stop placed? Well, that is going to be below support or below the volume profile in an area of the LVN, because again, you are trained to believe, you are trained to trade on the metric that if price makes a lower low or if price takes out support, then you should be going short or you should be stop lossing. Now, there is no way to get away from that style of trading. There's no way to get away from those raw fundamentals, because those are fundamentals. Horizontal support and resistance are real things. Those are real, genuine ways to trade. Again, they're basically the method that I trade on. However, you do have to insert into your trading discipline an understanding of institutional order flow. And again, you cannot always predict it correctly. It's one of the most contentious issues. It's a controversial topic, especially if you are not an institutional trader, if you are not managing millions of dollars, if you are only managing your own portfolio, $5,000 to $50,000, if you're a retail trader. Again, very difficult. That's why it is best, if you are a retail trader, to lose your obsession with catching the tops and bottoms. Again, the most successful retail traders that I know, go by the old axiom of show up to the party late and leave early. You do want to be waiting for confirmation, because unless you have the capital to move the markets, you're going to more often than not get yourself wrecked with trying to play in areas where the big boys are trying to play in. Now, again, you can use a small portion of your portfolio to attempt to front run institutional investors. Again, this is something that I do as well. However, I don't bank on the large capital, or excuse me, the largest amount of capital that I have in my portfolio and my trading balance into attempting to play the areas that the big boys are trying to play, merely because more often than not, you're going to get wrecked. You do want to wait for confirmation. There is plenty of time to be entering into positions and making profit. Again, whether you're scalping, whether you're taking directional trades, you do want to be waiting for confirmation. And again, this is why most traders fail, because the key ingredient here is patience in waiting for confirmation of a movement. And unfortunately, most traders just do not possess that level of patience. All right, let's troll up here to the chat just a little bit. All right, dun, 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 dun. Daniel Clerks, it's never too late for best wishes, my friend. Kolya, hello, Justin, nice day. Thanks, good to you, buddy. Hey, from Prague. Hey, what's going on, Robert? Hey, what's going on, Michael? Nunzio? Hey, 1222, or Dream. We decided we're going to call you Dream. Hey, what's going on, man? Looking really good for TRX at the moment. Jay Constant says, it is really unbelievable that every time I buy Bitcoin, it fails me, and when I am Tether, it breaks resistance. It's so frustrating. Hey, man, again, waiting for confirmation. Key areas, key areas. A Big Sky says, Jay Constant, just let us know when you invest so we trade the opposite. We actually have a proprietary indicator in the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. It's known as the Payday Indicator. Shout out to Payday. How you doing, my good friend? Moderator for the cryptocurrency chat room, or for the Discord, for the Kraken Cryptocurrency Discord. He seems to have, he actually has his own reaction button. So in the Premium Trading Group, when people take trades, suggestions that we post, we like them to add a reaction, so we're aware as analysts like what trades that we need to put the most attention to into updating and actively managing the position. More so than we would for other positions where we're more comfortable to kind of set it and forget it. We have Payday. Payday has his own reaction indicators. It's not always true, but he is our canary in the coal mine. All right, let's see here. All right, so getting back into this. So a weekly open and close above this bearish order block on the weekly time frame is going to be leading to long-term directional long positions. Now, when I say long-term, I don't really mean long-term. Again, long-term directional longs are going to have to wait until three things. Higher weekly highs, really relative to everything we've seen. Breaking of the bearish order block and opening and closing above the bearish order block. Excuse me, let me rephrase. That's what I mean by that. Clear capitulation, which we have not seen yet. The volume distribution is all wrong for capitulation. Or we get on a weekly closing basis back above 6K. That is going to be a strong impetus. And I know, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I get a lot of flack for saying this, and the reason why should we wait? Why should we wait, Justin, until price is above 6K? Well, you don't have to wait. Again, you can try to play speculative long bounces in the area in between. You can take the gap trade in the HVN. Again, a weekly open and close, or a weekly, at least at the speculative level, a weekly open above our current bearish order block would be a long call. But where do you have resistance coming in? You do have this gap trade area of the LV, and if you look at the volume profile, if you look at the distribution of the volume nodes, you can see that if we are able to break above this resistance, more than likely, as price likes to do, price likes to shoot through LVNs quite quickly until it finds resistance at the next HVN. We currently have that beginning around 5,500 to 5,700. It really starts getting deep around that 6K, $6,500 area. Now, that is the previous psychological breakdown zone. That is the current resistance area that we have yet to test for confirmed rejection of that area. Now, at some point in time, a test of that area is likely. However, you cannot get over your skis. You can't be screaming for all-time highs until we're able to get above previous resistance, guys. It's just the way it works. At below 6K, we're still in bear market territory, and it doesn't matter what you want to think. It doesn't really matter, like Ben Shapiro is akin to say, like, facts don't care about your feelings, guys. Horizontal support and resistance don't care about your emotional opinions on which way the market's going to go. You just have to look at the facts, look at quantifiable data. Again, $6,000 resistance is quantifiable data. You can see how price reacted off that level. You can see where it did act as strong support. Again, support becomes resistance. So on the next retest of 6K, more than likely it will be a rejection, guys. Now, the strength and size of that rejection remains to be seen. Again, it's impossible to speculate against the market's going to move $200 on this day. You buy here, and for sure the market's going to. That doesn't exist, guys. Anybody who's trying to sell you on that is a charlatan. That's not the way the market works. It's not the way that trading works in all actuality. Again, all we can do is look for key areas All we can do is look for key areas to enter into positions, and look for key areas to be looking for resistance to exit our positions, and in the short term to be looking for areas when we do see a shift in momentum to be looking to exit our positions, update our stop losses. Again, my entire strategy revolves around selling or buying at key areas where the market is most likely to turn, and then using trailing stops and manually updating stops as we reach key critical levels of interest. Whether I'm going to the short side, I'm looking to exit at I'm looking to cover at key levels of support. If I'm looking to go long, I'm looking to exit my position and sell at key levels of resistance, always trailing my stop loss up, always locking in profits. Again, there are times in the market, there are certain market conditions where you do just want to let your winners run. You know where that exists? In a trending market. When you're in a highly volatile, sideways ranging market, you need to take your profits off the table and be happy, because we're just not in that condition. We're not in that market cycle where you can safely say, okay, well, listen, I'm just going to buy and I'm going to add if we go down here. I've been seeing people try to do that all year long, all 2018. And most of them aren't around if they have not blown out their trading account. So let's go down to the lower time frames. Or excuse me, let me finish. I do have a few more comments on the weekly time frame here. So a weekly open and close above this bearish order block and above the high volume node. Currently, we have that high volume node coming in right around here, is going to lead me to a more bullish sentiment. Again, we talked about previously, we talked about the conservative and the aggressive necklines. Let's take the auto mode off and let's just zoom in here a little bit on the weekly time frame. So I do have a couple key areas drawn. Again, these are going to correspond to the daily time frame as well, 4,288. A weekly trade above that is also a bullish sign, getting above this Fibonacci level, which is currently coming in right around 4,378 to 4,400. Again, we do have the high of this weekly candle coming in around 4,409. So all weekly trades and closes above those levels, highly bullish, most likely moving us up to the $5,500 area. Again, conservatively looking to take profits anywhere between 5,237. And where do we see the HVN on this area really begin? Again, why do I say 5,237? Well, let's actually look at the low of this candle. 5,199 is the liquidity pool. That is an area where obviously we had a lot of interest in buying. So again, that is a likely area to be looking to sell on the weekly time frame as well if we actually do get this bullish reaction and this bullish rally. And then we also have the HVN beginning to come around right around that $5,400, $5,500 level. So key area to be looking to take profits prior to price reaching that rejection zone as well, so that you can be sure to lock in significant profits. Now, all right, let's see here. Yeah, so we can see. All right, sorry about that. Still got a household full now. All right, let's see here. We do obviously see that above current trading levels, we do have a shallow area of the volume profile where price is likely to move through quickly in search of the next high volume node. Okay, now going down to the 24-hour chart. Okay, so this is what we've been talking about for quite a while. Price did break up and trade into my short channel right here. So, Bitcoin is still in the descending channel for short entry, getting a lot of overhead resistance currently. So we still have not been able to close a higher daily candle. Still have not been able to close a higher daily candle. So if we actually look, where is the close of this candle? This candle closed at 4,040. This candle closed at 4,073. So still have not been able to close a higher daily candle. Okay, so we're still just seeing lower highs on daily closing basis. So on the larger time frames, this still looks quite bearish. If the daily candle is able to close above 4,073, then we could potentially see an upthrust and a pierce of the descending trend line. However, I will bet on it still only being a wick that most likely will make it even lower than our previous upthrust into the overhead daily bearish order block. So we do have our current daily bearish order block starting at 4,220, going up to 4,296 actually. Actually, the level is 4,288. That is the daily high, excuse me, let's see here. So the close of this candle is 4,288. Yep, so that is the actual high close of our previous distribution area right here, where price does need to make it above on a daily or a weekly basis before we start getting excited. Again, when you are looking at the weekly time frame and you're making weekly trades, you do want to zoom down to at least the daily chart to be looking for your entrances and exits, and when your entries and exits. And when you are trading on the daily time frame, when you're looking for positional areas on the daily time frame, you do want to zoom down to your 4 hour or your 1 hour to actually look for confirmation to be taking trades. So traditionally, price is looking like a short right here. However, consolidation at these higher areas with a little bit of price contraction on higher volume as well does lead me to want to be cautious at this level. So I am going to be waiting for confirmation to be entering into a short. The last play that we took on XBT was actually a long position, which is still open. Stops updated depending on where people decided to raise their stops, depending on how they decided to raise their stops or use a trailing stop. Again, hit 2 of 4 take profit targets. So that trade is still open, and I will be waiting for confirmation for a short, moving us back down to retest our key area of breakout right here, coming in around the lower 3900s, the upper 3800s. Man, I'm starving this morning. I'm in a fasted state, guys, this morning. I woke up, went for a run, still in a fasted state. Okay. All right, so full confirmation of a breakdown of this upper range, moving us back down into a short position, will be upon a daily candle trading below the lower diagonal trend line and a daily close lower than 4,005. So we're looking for a daily close lower than our previous close right here. And we're also looking for a break of this diagonal trend line right here. That will also be a break of resistance. Again, the area where you would be speculatively looking to enter into a long position would be on a retest of the breakout zone, a retest of previous resistance right here on the daily time frame. Again, putting your stop loss most likely below the point of control, and where we do see a shallow area of the HVN right here is a good area to be setting your stop if you're trading on the daily time frame. Now, my actual setup is a lot tighter than that, looking at the hourly time frame for my entries and exits on that trade. However, just looking at the longer time frame, that would be your play if you were trying to take another speculative long bounce off the retest of resistance. Now, if we actually go down to the lower time frames, we can kind of see what I'm talking about. So Bitcoin was putting in this symmetrical triangle pattern. And if we look at this in hindsight, we can actually see multiple areas where you could have been taking a speculative long off this area. Now, we had tested resistance, the upper descending trend line right here after we put in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So almost 6 touches on that trend line right here, seeing how price reacts to the point of control as well. We do have an initial breakdown from the second test of our sorry. So we do have our second test of the diagonal trend line right here, which is actually forming the diagonal trend line. So we are looking to take a trade on the third test of a trend line. Now, again, traditionally, most traders are taught that 3 touches on a trend line is speculative, or excuse me, 2 touches on a trend line is speculative, 3 touches is confirmation. So traditionally, or at least, what's the right word here? So common sense would tell you that you should be looking to take your trade on the 4th touch of a trend line. However, in my experience, the strongest trade is to be taken on the 3rd touch of a trend line. Why is that? Why is the strongest trade to be taken on the 3rd touch of a trend line? Because that is the area where you're actually going to get confirmation that the trend line is valid. And generally on the 4th to 5th touch of a trend line, the trend line is weakened, that resistance or support level is weakened, and that's often where you will either see a breakdown or a fake break, depending on which direction that you're looking to trade. So I do like to take trades on the 3rd touch of a trend line. Now, we did look how price responded to the point of control right here. We consolidated at the point of control. We broke down. We came back to a previous level of resistance, found it as support right down here around 35.88. Price did turn around, had a very strong reaction back up into our current, at that point in time, this was purple, which means it's a trading range for me. Broke back all the way up above that trading range, found resistance at the lower area of this breakout right here, and then consolidated to the upside, forming a symmetrical pattern. Now, again, a symmetrical pattern is chart neutral. Again, I don't trade chart patterns. Again, you can see where a measured, see, this is one thing that I got to make a public service announcement, man. I see so many people trading chart patterns, and the way that they're looking to take, the way that they're looking for, what's the word I want to be using here? The way that they're looking for targets is taking measured moves of chart patterns. Now, there have been many neutral, independent studies of chart patterns and whether they carry any predictive capacity whatsoever. And the overwhelming result is that chart pattern trading is not profitable. There is almost little to no predictive abilities or reproducible data to be seen from trading chart patterns. Now, I do look at chart patterns, certain chart patterns, for what they tell me about momentum and how price is responding. So, for example, when you are looking to trade an ascending triangle, for example, what you are seeing there is supply and demand in action. You are seeing higher lows and equal highs, meaning that supply is equal, but demand is rising to meet supply. And more than likely, when demand actually equals supply, you will see a break to the upside. But using a measured movement of an ascending triangle, to me, in my experience, is a losing battle. Now, head and shoulders, also the same thing. Now, I will point them out. I will talk about them, especially if those measured moves do have confluence with key levels of resistance or support or Fibonacci extensions. Those are times when you can be looking at those areas as confluence. But just raw trading of chart patterns, in my experience, and from the, like, for real, there's studies, none of this, right? That chart patterns do not hold predictive capacity whatsoever, especially if you're looking in my main gripe with chart pattern trading is that people are trained and teach you to use measured movements. Mark T. DeGrush, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Welcome to the community. People are trained to look at measured movements for take profit targets. So, for example, if we take, whoa, I didn't want to do that. Baby, come back. All right, so if we actually pull out our measurement tool here and we measure this, we get about 10.65%. So we're looking for a 10.65% measured move breakout to the upside. We got another sub on YouTube. Hey, thanks so much. John Ross, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Welcome to the community. Now, let's take this example of a measured move off the symmetrical triangle. Again, about 10.65. Let's actually get a real... Okay, so let's actually do... Sorry, let me be more precise here. So we'll measure from the bottom to the top. That's going to give us... Let's just use 11%. 11% I like. Okay. So we measure from the level of the breakout, and we're going to measure up 11%. So where's that putting us? Okay. So that's putting us up around $4,250. Let's just call it $4,250. Now, where is that area in relation to key levels of support and resistance? Because that's the only way that we can potentially look at that area as confluence. So we do have that area actually coming in as a level of confluence. Why? Because it is a previous range high. It is the current swing high, actually, excuse me. And it is also in an area where I've already mapped out as a resistance order block as well, making that a likely target for an upthrust. Again, this is an area where price has failed to make it above since our bearish breakdown over here in our attempted failed rally, moving us all the way back down to that lower $3,000 area. However, let's pull out fib extension on this bad boy. So we said 4,250. So we are also getting a few fib extensions that are pointing us up there as well. However, if you were looking to take this trade, look at how using a fib extension would actually give you much better take profit targets. Again, using fib extensions in this way, you can actually see much better areas where price is more likely to react and respond from, especially if you can find confluence with key levels of horizontal support and resistance and the volume profile as well. So raw trading of chart patterns is a losing strategy, in my opinion, in my experience, and also a lot of studies done on this, guys. Again, the ability of human beings to see patterns, human beings see patterns everywhere. It's one of the main differences. It's one of the main differentiations between us and machines. So machines are actually terrible at pattern recognition. Humans are fantastic at pattern recognition. So this is actually one of mankind's strongest survival instincts, actually, is pattern recognition in lieu of raw data processing. Again, machines' analytic predictability, or analytic capacity, have the ability to crunch large numbers and sums of data very quickly and produce results. Unfortunately, they are very poor at spotting spotting patterns that human beings are very akin to. Again, just look at the anatomy of our eye and the anatomy of our brain and how human psychology works. It's I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that raw trading of chart trading patterns is a fairly unsuccessful venture. Again, you guys trade whatever method that you find applicable to you. I have just found that raw trading of chart patterns has not worked out very well for me. I will I'll make an effort to find the studies and try to talk about them on the stream sometime. So I digress. I see a head and shoulders pattern in the clouds right now, I think. Yeah, man. All right. So let's go down to the 12-hour chart. turn off logarithmic. All right, so on the 12-hour chart, we actually do see volume picking up quite a bit here. Not quite a bit, but volume is rising in this period of consolidation. In this period of consolidation, just in the last 24 hours, we've seen some big liquidity plays to the upside and to the downside. The last movement was a liquidity play, so we can see that here. So we had a liquidity play right here to take out a swing low, or excuse me, to take out a local low. We had a liquidity play, a big down thrust down to take out long positions right here, providing liquidity to longs. We see the same kind of violent movement upwards, and we see two reversal candles back to back to back right here, or excuse me, back to back. So we have a hammer candle and then we have an inverted candle back to back. This is a lot of indecision in the market, highly volatile, very easy place to get wrecked if you're trying to take very speculative trades right now. Again, the last liquidity play, the second to last liquidity play we saw, cleared out long positions, trapped a lot of shorts, and, or excuse me, the second to last liquidity we play, so obviously, if you were trying to go long in the situation, where would you have, if you were going long in the situation right here, if you were trying to go long off the situation right here, you would have your stops placed below your local low. Again, those completely got tapped into. A lot of people provided liquidity to individuals trying to go long. But again, we see the exact same thing right here, where if you were trying to go short, you got your stops taken out, and now we've provided liquidity to the shorts. Now, situations like this, I don't really like to trade. I don't like to actively trade situations like this. That's why I'm very comfortable just having my long with my previous take profit levels with a trailing stop. So let's see here. So last movement was a liquidity play to take out the shorts. Overall, we lean toward the short side. However, this is still a fairly uncertain chart as we begin to descend into the lower time frames. On the higher time frames, the weekly time frame, the daily time frame begins to look like a clear short. When you're looking for an accurate entry and exit position, as you start zooming down into the lower time frames, it starts to get hairy. The best bet, as always, is to play it safe. Once a clear entry signal opens up for me, I will post it to the premium trading group. Until then, I'll play the speculative long bounce that I took off the liquidity play to the downside until the clear short opens up for me. All right. Now, looking at the hourly chart, right here, the one thing that I would be looking out for is, yes, we did see, again, getting into the roughness of the pattern trading, we see here a clear bull flag, okay? And what you can see, what bull flags tell me, again, I'm not trading the chart pattern, I'm trading what it's telling me about what price is doing. I'm seeing price contraction right here. So I'm seeing price contraction, take a Fibonacci level, take a Fibonacci measurement of the swing low to the swing high. And we do see that price came into an entry area that I do like to keep my eyes on, the 382, the 50% Fibonacci retracement. Again, this was the liquidity play that I did enter into the long position off of last night. Again, but we were able to make a higher high, but we were not actually able to really have a lot of follow through. Now, price is putting in higher hourly lows, higher hourly highs. So we tentatively assume that the play is to the bulls right now. However, the bulls are in a very hairy situation right here. And again, rising volume. That's why I'm hesitant to enter into a short at this point in time, even though on the higher time frames, we are in the area where I would like to be going short, as we can see right here. Let's delete that Fibonacci extension, and we can see we are in the descending short channel right now. But when I see volume like this, when I see price action like this, I just have to be hesitant and play my gut, guys, and just play my gut. All right, let's see here. So I'll be watching for how price responds to the point of control right here. Point of control on the hourly chart coming in around 4,031. If we get a clear rejection from that level, or if we get a takeout, if we get 3,974, if we get these lower swing lows taken out, again, and most likely will be a short down to, again, the retest of, on the hourly chart, a retest of previous resistance turns support, the upper area of the high volume node right here, the descending trend line right here as well, the secondary descending channel trend line right here, and the upper level of the symmetrical triangle that we did break out of. So again, diagonal trend line, looking for that to hold as support, previous resistance, looking for that to hold as support, and again, time will tell. So I did want to look at Ethereum as well. Looking at Ethereum to the Tether US on the daily chart. It brings a lot of clarity to me just looking at the daily chart right here for what Ethereum is doing. So Alex had called an Ethereum short last night, strong short. We do see price petering out on low volume as we reach the top. We get this daily evening star candle. Price has not been able to close a higher high above that since we put in that reversal candlestick pattern right there. The next area of support that we would, if the Ethereum bulls are to keep the movement to the bull side, we do expect the next area of support to be coming in around 137, 138. Again, that's the top of previous resistance. That's also the top of this HVN right here. Setting a stop loss at around $130. That's going to be taking out that HVN right below that HVN level right there. Taking out that level, more than likely, price will return to its second level of support, which is the point of control, previous level that we bounced off as well, and the breakout point for this ascending scallop pattern right here. We had obviously our bearish order block right here, congruent with this point of control right here. Price broke down from that level, finally put in a low right here, was able to break out, came up to this area, found initial resistance, and then was able to break through it on a daily closing basis. Peaked all the way up here to, let's see here, what was the high of that? 157.67 before coming back down to test the point of control and putting in this next high, this next leg of this rally. So obviously the momentum still to the bulls right now. So looking for a pullback. The short is still strong, looking for that area of 137, 138 to hold as support. If we're going to get another leg up, obviously if that level breaks, then again, we're looking at that next level of support, 113, 114. Point of control, previous area where we bounced off of previously. All right, so let me get to the chat, guys. Jason Evans says, if you have a long-term bullish outlook, like 2 to 5 years bullish, does it make sense to hold USDT? Or should you just do swing trading in BTC pairs and ride the wave? BTC pairs are good to trade. Again, one way that I've kind of pointed this out is that, because this topic has come up in the Discord quite a bit. When you're looking at trading altcoin to BTC pairings, there are times in the market where that is very lucrative and profitable to trade. When Bitcoin is trending quite strongly, altcoin to Bitcoin pairings are quite good speculative assets to hold. Unfortunately, at this point in the market, just like as I was talking about with Bitcoin, when you're looking at the ranging, when you're looking at the unpredictability, when you're looking at the volatility, again, great for day trading, for directional long-term positional trading. Again, highly unclear, hard to get a good entry, hard to get a good exit, especially if you miss a movement. Patience is your best virtue. Now, again, there are great times in the market to be holding altcoin Bitcoin pairings when Bitcoin is trending quite strongly. Altcoin to Bitcoin pairings are going to do very well for you because overall your USD value is going to increase. Now, I am still long-term bullish on Bitcoin. Again, that's why I do this. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't long-term bullish on Bitcoin. Again, one thing that I get asked a lot is, why do I enjoy shorting Bitcoin? Again, it's not that I overly enjoy shorting Bitcoin. I enjoy having profitable trades, and you have to look at the current market cycle and what is your best bet in the market right now. Now, the trend is still the short-term trend. So let me clarify this. Short-term momentum is to the bulls. Mid-term momentum is to the bears, and the long-term momentum, so overall in the next 2 to 5 years, is to the bulls. Definitely do believe that. That is my outlook on Bitcoin. Again, historically, buying in the year leading up to the halving, which is going to be happening mid-2020, has always been your best bet for investing in Bitcoin. So I still expect more downturn Q1, Q2 of 2019. I think we'll begin to see sideways consolidation, long-term sideways consolidation, Q3, Q4 of 2019. And then I think beginning 2020 through mid-2020, we'll begin seeing the next full real bull run. However, things can change on a dime, guys. These are the markets, man. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Dealing with the second part of your question, should you just do swing trading in BTC pairs and ride the wave? I think that if you're concerned with maintaining your USD portfolio value, you should actually be trading in USDT pairings. Michael Nunzio, where's this reverse head and shoulders I want? Yeah, I've talked about that for quite a while, man. I think that's a meme that's being painted for most people. Again, there are better metrics to see. Again, I've talked about that at length. So actually, if we get into the let's go to the longer time frame on the BitMEX chart. So that's one of the things I've talked about at length. We did talk about, let's get rid of this. There it is. Nope, not that one. Let's see if I deleted it. Head and shoulders, head and shoulders, head and shoulders. Where are you? Must have deleted it. Anyways, we can see here on the 4-hour time frame that we have taken that into account and measured that out for people on previous streams as well. Again, I'd be looking, again, I'm looking to take profits if we do get a confirmed breakout of this distribution order block right here. Charted all this out on the daily chart to get a higher time frame perspective of what levels I actually need to see break. Again, horizontal support and resistance is a real thing, guys. You do actually need to see previous levels of resistance taken out before you have a long-term directional bias to the long side. So those levels are, again, basically where I have the conservative neckline coming in around that 4,288 level. Again, also 4,400 level. That would actually be getting you above your previous range high. And you could actually have confirmation if you're actually able to close daily timeframes above this. If you're actually able to close daily candles above this level, then you can feel much more confident about taking a long trade to the upside. All right. Any hoosers. So me personally, I have take profit targets for a directional trade to the upside starting around 4,665 and an aggressive target of 5,181. Looking to take profits at liquidity pools, at shallow areas of the volume profile before we actually reach hardcore resistance. Looking at the actual measured movement of that inverted head and shoulders meme, which everybody is screaming about on crypto Twitter, which everybody is kind of screaming about across the board, actually. That's why I'm so keen to counter trade it. Those measured movements are actually putting you up at 5,364, measuring the right shoulder, and 5,615, measuring the left shoulder. So you have a conservative and an aggressive measured movement of the inverted head and shoulders. So until I actually see any kind of indication that we are going to break previous highs, not playing that. Not playing that. Xanimus Crypto says, Ben's awesome, as is Jordan Peterson. I went and saw Jordan Peterson live. He was a great speaker live, man. Mac Knight says, 6,000. Hyper Mega Super Dumper Stronger sis. Kolia asks, what do you think the difference between shorts and longs and the stochastic on the daily? All right. Well, I won't look at the stochastic on the daily. I will, actually, why not? But let's go look at the longs and the shorts. Let's start off with looking at the longs. So, yeah, man, look at the longs. So the longs have continued to rise as we're at the top of an uptrend. And one of the things that I like to use when I'm looking at sentiment, when I'm looking to figure out what direction that I want to go into, looking at the technical analysis on the longs, we are at a previous level of resistance. We were able to come up and make a high right here. We were able to come up and make a higher high, but we've put in a lower high. Now we do have to wait for this area to break down on the longs, looking at technical analysis when we're applying technical analysis to sentiment data. But the fact that we weren't able to rally up and make a higher high yet, and the fact that longs are extremely high at the top of an uptrend is typically an area where you do want to be exiting the market. Again, you have to be thinking of this through the lens of institutional order flow. people, if you are playing with large contracts, with large position sizes, you are going to need liquidity to be able to fund your position sizes. If you are managing several $1 million or more than several $1 million, 10 to 20, 30, 40, $50 million, you can't just hit that market sell button. You have to have well-defined key levels of where you would like to be going short. Where are those liquidity pools in relation to the market? Well, if you're looking at local highs, local lows, those liquidity pools are going to be in these areas right here. Those liquidity pools are also going to be in the areas above range highs right here. That's why you do need to wait for confirmation. If you are entering into a trade, again, this is something that happens a lot. So people will see a highly volatile movement. They'll see Bitcoin dumping or they'll see Bitcoin pumping, and they'll get extremely excited and they'll look to jump into a trade right at that level. And often they find, like for example, this happened yesterday. Not yesterday, but this happened a couple days ago. So Bitcoin pumps right here. And at this level right here, you have to remember all these, every point of data here that the candlestick is printing for you is actual buying and selling. So the highest level of the candlestick right here, the high right here at 4,082 on BitMEX, somebody bought at 4,082. And retail traders tend to act all at once. It's like a hive mind type mentality. So you do have a lot of retail traders piling in at the exact same time. Kurt Maxwell, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. Highly appreciate it. You have a lot of retail traders piling in at the same time, at that same level. A lot of individuals buying at this level right here. And what does that make them? It makes them trapped buyers. It makes them trapped buyers. And what are trapped buyers? Trapped buyers are potential sellers, making this area a very hard level to get over because you have all these buyers trapped in this area. They don't want to settle a loss and they think the market is going to go down. So they're setting limit orders to get them out of their positions at break even or slight profit. And as you can see here, that's exactly what happens. It's very difficult for price to actually close above these levels in a very convincing basis. You also have a lot of individuals, smarter, more savvier traders who are taking this opportunity to go short. Again, that's still highly risky because when you do get a big bullish candle like that, again, you do have to be careful because it can just continue going up higher. You do have to wait for the momentum to peter off and die out. But once you see something like this, you can be fairly confident the price is going to move and retrace further down, at least to a key fib level, at least to a key support level right here. The superheart.org Foundation. Thanks for the sub on YouTube, man. But you have a lot of trapped buyers in this area right here. And Naresh Nani NR. Thanks for the sub on YouTube as well, my friend. So you do have a lot of trapped buyers in that area, making it very difficult for them to exit, making it very difficult for price to actually make it above this level. That's why when it does make it above that level on a closing basis, especially on a longer time frame, a higher time frame, it's a very strong call option and proving to you that there is actual volume and liquidity behind the movement of the bulls or the bears, conversely, if you're looking at it in the opposite situation. So the same thing as well. All the individuals that are going short, they're going to have their stop losses placed up in this area. So this movement that you see right here is a lot of liquidated shorts, or a lot of liquidated shorts, or at least a lot of shorts, not liquidated, excuse me, a lot of shorts getting their stop losses hit as they are able, as price wicks up and hits their stop losses, and they are now buying, which is moving price upwards and providing liquidity to more savvier traders who are actually going short at these levels, kind of looking at the same thing that I'm looking at right here, looking at this diagonal trend line, looking at the lower lows, looking at the volume. So typically when you see sentiment extremely high, when you see longs extremely high, at the top of an uptrend, you need to be on the lookout for them providing liquidity to short orders as well. Now, if we go over and look at shorts, where do we see shorts at? We see shorts at an all-time low at the top of an uptrend. So a lot of movement, a lot of buying power left for the shorts to actually be able to increase their positions right here. A lot of dry powder left for the shorts, and coming up on key areas of support also for the shorts as well. So something to keep your eye on, something to be very careful at. Again, looking at this area, looking at the play for liquidity to the downside and to the upside, you do want to be careful on the position that you take there. On the longer time frames, the trade is fairly obviously to the downside, but looking for the correct entry is the trick. Has DaVinci 15 created Grimcoin? Never heard of Grimcoin. I know Grin. Is long or short only leverage, or is it people who bought Bitcoin? So that's a little bit of a different metric. Obviously, when we, colloquially, when we say long, we're talking about people that are buying Bitcoin. Colloquially, when we say short, we're talking about people that are selling Bitcoin. But you do have to keep in mind that when we're actually measuring the movements and the long and short positions on Bitfinex or BitMEX, for example, that is going to be different from buyers and sellers and spot price. I'm looking for some good questions in the chat. All right, sorry that I missed Mr. Desert Rose. Let me take care of that for the mods. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Donnie Brooks 56 asks, sorry if you have covered it before, but how do you use the point of control in your trading? Never really used it, so just curious. So when I'm looking at the point of control for me acts as a confluence indicator to horizontal support and resistance. So I'm looking for price to make reactions around the point of control. So just in the most basic sense, in a short-term sense, I'm looking for reactions from the point of control. If price is able to close convincingly above the point of control, so if I'm trading the hourly chart, if I get an hourly candle close above the point of control, that is typically a long call where I would be looking to go long off that signal. I would be looking at something like Fibonacci extensions or retracements, taking in the recent movement into account to be looking for take profit targets in the short term. And I would be looking for key levels of horizontal support and resistance, previous support, to be looking for longer term targets as well, especially if they have fib confluence also. So the point of control is kind of my first indicator that I'm looking at when I'm asking what is price going to be doing in the short term. So let's actually pull up something like VPSV. So price does exhibit very pronounced responses to the point of control. So we can clearly see here the play that price has around the point of control. Keep in mind that the point of control is just measuring volume by price. So the area of price horizontally where there was the most volume traded at that price level. So a lot of interest in the price level currently on the current daily session around 4,005. So if we actually go out to the daily time frame, what does that actually tell us? What was the open on today's candle? The open on today's candle was 4,005. So very sensible for that to be a highly contested area. So the bulls trying to hold the open, the bears obviously attempting to push price down below the daily open and for us to have a bearish day. Other key areas that you're looking at on the volume profile, at least, is key areas of areas of violent volume rejection. So in its most basic sense, and I have a full webinar on how I use the VPSV to actually scalp trade and trade on BitMEX on the lower time frames, but just dealing with the point of control, again, price has a pronounced reaction to the point of control. Again, when price consolidates at the point of control, we shift to a consolidation, entering into consolidation strategy. So we start looking at things like volume. We start looking at things like ADX and DMI to attempt to divine our directional bias, and then we use ATR, average true range, to determine our entries and exits on a chart, on a play like BitMEX, on a play like XBT, where we're looking for liquidity plays and grabs to the downside or the upside, so that we can keep institutional order flow in mind. I know that's a whole lot, but it's really not. In practice, what that includes is that trading in consolidation, quite different from trading in a ranging market. So if you are trading in consolidation, the way that I play that out is I will attempt to establish my directional bias, either depending upon market sentiment. I look at sentiment data. Again, when I see that sentiment data is very high, when I see that the longs are very high at the top of an uptrend, again, that to me is a counter trade indicator where I am typically looking to go short. However, I do look at things like volume. I do look at things like ADX and DMI to determine where the bullish momentum or the bearish momentum is. If I determine, in my opinion, in my analysis, that the bias is to the long side, then I'm using an indicator or a measuring tool like average true range to identify key areas where a liquidity play is likely to tap down into. Also looking for confluence with Fibonacci levels at that same time. You're always looking for confluence, guys. Again, you do want to keep your strategy simple, and I know that sounds like a whole lot. It's really not. I keep my strategy honestly very simple. It's just that I've done this for so long, and I've found more accurate ways that work for me to measure my movements, to look for take profit targets, to look for entries, to look for exits, to look for stop losses. I have a very disciplined risk management strategy, which I go over in depth in the risk management webinars for the premium subscribers. So always keeping that in mind. And it's just, and again, one thing that I sound, I'm sure I sound like a broken record just saying this over and over again, but if you want to be a good trader, if you want to be a profitable trader, you need to be studying, paper trading extensively, having a verifiable, reproducible, data-based driven style of trading. You need to have clear entries, clear exits, stop losses, take profit targets, and you need to have all that rolled up into a system where you can execute over and over and over again. It's not sexy, but it's profitable. And you need to have a very strong and disciplined risk management strategy. The reason that most people fail at trading is because they hop in willy-nilly. They fill their head with a lot of noise. Like I do not look at crypto Twitter. I don't really look at anything that anybody else does to influence my analysis. And because of that, well, maybe in spite of that, I don't care what other people are doing. I don't care what other people see in the markets, because that has no relevance or play or bearing on how I'm going to do my thing. And all it's going to do is fill my head with a lot of noise. All I can do at the end of the day is do my best analysis, trade, wait for a predetermined entry to pop up in my favor, take the trade, and have the discipline to execute upon it. Whether to cut my loss if the trade doesn't go in my favor, or to take profits when we reach my predetermined take profit levels. Or if I find that the momentum is with the bulls, to let a winner run, but still always looking to lock in profits, especially at this phase of the market. Now, what do we see right now? We see price attempting to make it above the point of control. So we're going to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt and see what they can do here in the short term. Again, this is something that I had said right before I came on stream when I was talking to everybody in the premium chat. Let's actually look here and get the right. There we go. So price did put in a lower, price put in a higher low right here on the hourly time frame. And I had said that price is most likely going to move up and retest the point of control. And depending on how price responds to the point of control here, as you can see, we broke above it, put in a higher low. Now the key area remains to be seen if we put in a lower high and clear rejection from the point of control. Clear rejection from the point of control kind of puts the nail in the coffin for the bullish impetus at this point in time. And I would be looking to most likely enter into a short position to take this back down to a key level of support. Mobius 378. Hey, what's going on, brother? What alts do I hold or see a bright future for? So I don't hold any alts. There are some alts that I like more than others. So I think that Ripple, although it's a short in the short term right now, I do think that Ripple will obviously have a play in the in the midterm at least. Again, this was a conversation I was having the other night with some friends. Is that what we saw in 2017 and 18? mostly in 2017 with the irrational exuberance of the market, was a lot of side projects be launched, a lot of dApps be launched, when unfortunately we hadn't even fully established the platform yet, guys. So Bitcoin has the potential to solve real world solutions. It's censorship resistant money. It's government hard money. That is an actual real world use case. Ethereum does actually have a real world use case. I don't think that it is going to live up to its claims of what it purports to do, or what a lot of people believe that it will do. But I do think that it is a valid source of technology, at least for experimentation, at least for the idea of a world computer. Now, scaling issues aside, again, I do try, although I am pretty harsh on Ethereum, but the reason I'm harsh on Ethereum is basically their public relations campaign. And basically the lack of the lack of investor knowledge that a lot of people who are Ethereum bag holders profess. Medical Crypto, hey, thanks so much for the follow on Twitch, my friend. A lot of people don't know a whole lot about Ethereum, and Ethereum kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Ethereum allows people to believe that it is going to be something like a currency. That it is actually going to be a competitor to Bitcoin. It's just not. Ethereum has its own separate use case, but the problem and what compounds the issue and why I dislike Ethereum so much on a secondary level is because you had a lot of garbage dApps be launched on it. Again, nobody uses dApps. Nobody gives two craps about dApps. Nobody uses these things because they don't solve real world issues. If you look at the political landscape right now, there are some real world issues. A lot, like the government in America is still shut down, like right now, over a border wall. Stupid. There's a lot of political uncertainty and instability out there. And again, we talked about this a while ago, that there was a lot of over-the-counter Bitcoin buying from countries like Venezuela, Argentina, countries that actually have a genuine use case. Why? Because their country's fiat currency is garbage. Again, the United States dollar has depreciated 95% since the inception of the Fed. A lot of things have just, taken us more, as we've fallen off the gold standard, really that's just skyrocketed again. Andreas Antonopoulos has some great comments and opinions on this, guys, if you go watch some of his videos. But the reality of the situation is that we face real struggles in the world today, and there are real world use cases that Bitcoin can solve that are far more pertinent than what Ethereum purports to claim. And I would like to see real world problems be solved before we move on to secondary, nay, tertiary issues. Now, I think that cryptocurrency is the market of the future. I think that it is where we do need to be focusing on. Obviously, it's where I'm focusing on and where I'm investing my capital in. So I do think there will be some good investment potential for altcoins in the future. However, I do want to see altcoins that are solving real world use cases, that are solving real world problems that have real world use cases and that actually have the ability to get adoption. Right now, the one that I'm focusing on that I believe can solve real world problems is Bitcoin, because we do have real political instability in the world right now. We do have real, economic uncertainty, and Bitcoin can help facilitate all these problems. So focus on building the platform first. Don't put the cart in front of the horse. And again, there's nothing wrong with using small allocations of your portfolio to invest in speculative altcoins. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with trading these things as well. That's what I do. That's how I make my living as a trader. Right now, I am focusing. Now, Neo BTC was a Bitcoin pairing that I did take to trade. Were I trading on Finex, I would have preferred to trade that to the USD. Haven't done a lot of trading on Bittrex, so that's why the USDT pairing was shied away from as well. So I do prefer the Binance platform. So yeah, I spoke about this earlier in the stream. There are times when Bitcoin pairings are going to be very profitable and lucrative for you. But if you're trading right now, I highly recommend that you do the majority of your focus on USD and USDT pairings. Again, USDT doesn't scare me. I'm not scared of Bitfinex. They've done pretty good as a platform and as an exchange. Kraken as well, too. Kraken's a really good exchange as well. Logitech, you can get a hold of us at contact@krakencryptocurrency.com, my friend. Hey, Joey V, good to see you, man. K7 Jixer says, the shutdown's not really over a border wall. Every year Congress finds a way to give government workers a 2-week paid vacation, man. You know, if we had less non-essential government personnel, man, maybe we would save a whole lot more money. All right, let's I've seen some requests for Litecoin and Tron and XRP, so we'll take a quick gander at those babies. Uh-oh, the trade has been exposed. Oh, shit. Be gone. All right, let's take a gander here. First thing I do just want to point out, obviously, we do have the upside targets on TRX USDT at 0.024, 0.028, 0.031. Kess Wohler, thanks so much for the sub on YouTube, man. So I'll just point out what comes to me right now. Price trading above the daily point of control on the tether pairing right now. Point of control coming in around 0.0198. So price trading above the point of control is in and of itself bullish. Now, we've had a nice little upthrust here on some decent volume up to a higher area, coming into a key area of resistance right here. So we've had three significant tests of this range right here. This upper level of the volume profile right here. Really honestly, this LVN. But we have not been able to break this resistance zone yet. We haven't really been able to get above this breakdown order block. So we have this equilibrium block right here. The price has just not been able to break it. You can see why it is an equilibrium block and what I mean when I say that, because you do see a slight break in market structure right here, where you see a lot of selling right here, and then you see a kind of a pause, you know, kind of like a hold off, like people are reloading. Right here, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4 days of consolidation, 3 days of significant consolidation, and then a breakdown of that area where that support is not tested at all. So you do put in a bit of a swing low where you put in a lower low, and then a higher low. So that is the definition of a swing low. And then that is disrespected right here on a closing basis below it. And that was really the blood in the water moving down this level right here. And you can see the exact same thing here, honestly, where you have a little bit of a break in market structure right here. So you have selling, you have a little bit of buying. This forms a resistance zone right here. And this was the initial resistance zone that Tron experienced after we put in a bottom right here, came back up, tested this area, found rejection from it, pulled back down to a higher level. This looks like something like looks like 618 Fibonacci retracement to me. Maybe a little bit higher actually, because that wick down. Yeah, 618 Fibonacci retracement right to that level. And then price was actually able to close and break above that convincingly. And then where's the next level that we found resistance from? Well, that next equilibrium distribution order block right in this area right here. Price was not able to get above that. Price put in a double top and broke down all the way, putting in a higher low on the daily chart right here. So that's nice to see. Until we kind of consolidate around for just a little bit, moving in the consolidation pattern. And then again, boom, we come back down to the low. This is the third test of the support line. Again, risky, breaks down, confirmed right on this candle right here. And the sellers smell blood. Boom, moves us down even lower. Now we've put in a higher low, and now we've had this nice little bullish up thrust kind of beginning in the middle of December as a lot of things started taking out. So December been a good year December was a good month for crypto. January starting out to be a good month as well, and Tron has kind of been on a roll recently. But Where's the next level that we do see coming in here for resistance? All right, well, the next level that we see, we are coming into that resistance level actually right now. So price has been unable to break out of the zone right here. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches on it, coming up for a 5th potential test of that 0.028 level right here. Now, if we are actually able to get above that, fucking bananas, dude, hell yeah. That's if you're not in the trade yet, that's a pretty significant long call for you to be looking at these higher time frame targets as well. We do have a fairly shallow area of the volume profile right here. We have a little bit of resistance right here in the middle, in between our 0.28 and our 0.031. That is congruent with the equilibrium order block right here, but not a significant area, or not a significant point of control area, really until we get up into that 0.037. Really fairly shallow areas of the volume node. Now there are good areas to be taking profits before that area. Again, I'm targeting liquidity pools. That's where I do like to look for take profit targets. Those are areas, those are targets that I do like to look for, as opposed to help me words. As opposed to significant resistance areas. Again, the likelihood of getting a rejection from those resistance areas is because traders are trying to front run those levels of resistance. So putting their orders before them so that they can get filled, and more often than not, you actually won't reach those significant levels of rejection, at least on the first pass through. So that's why you do want to set your targets more conservatively lower. Angelina says, where do we go to find the data on longs and shorts? You can go to Datamish. You can go to coinfarm.online if you want to look at BitMEX longs and shorts. You can go to, you can just pull up a chart on TradingView. For example, I like to compile all the data across markets, and then I like to weight it with the actual Bitcoin price. So you can see I'm looking at BTC USD shorts, Bitcoin Euro shorts, Bitcoin Japanese Yen shorts, Bitcoin British Pound shorts, and then I'm weighting them with the actual price of Bitcoin. Antifa General, welcome to the show, man. Robert asks, could I show an example of BitMEX trading in those indicators you were just talking about on a chart? So I don't do live BitMEX trading. There are strong reasons for that. If you have any questions, refer to my locality. And I also, that's one of the things that I shy away from, because I don't like overly influencing people with my exact entries and exits. I prefer for this show, again, what I do in the Discord is a little bit different. But what I like to do for this show is just provide good setups and good potential trade ideas, and just give people general insights into what direction I think the market's going to move. And I think this is more helpful and more congruent for helping people develop their own unique trading strategies, which I think is far more helpful in the long term than just following along with what I do. This isn't paint by numbers. This is actually an attempt to educate people on proper trading etiquette and strategy. As far as the indicators in play, more than happy to do that. Again, hopefully that's something that I am doing as I am kind of showing you guys what I'm talking about here. All right, so some pretty decent volume on TRX USDT right now. However, less volume than this up thrust right now. So would be expecting a little bit of a pullback. We're already seeing that right now, especially if we can get up to the 0.028 level. We'll see how far this can go. Let's take a little bit of a Fibonacci retracement and see what kind of confluence we can get right here. All right. Oh, sorry. Let me take in all that data right there. Okay, so we do see that the point of control is coming in right around that 382 and 50% Fibonacci retracement, also congruent with this high volume node right here. Obviously, that's where the point of control is. We do see a little bit of support prior to that area. Obviously, these previous highs coming in right around that 236 Fibonacci retracement, and this spike on the high volume node right here as well. Also a previous point of control. So a couple areas where you could be looking to re-enter on your TRX USDT trade right here, obviously around that 0.02293, or around that, in between that 0.02066 and 1883. I would be hesitant. Again, I don't like to knife catch, so I don't like to go ahead and set buys. I do like to wait for the market to confirm the direction of the movement before I get there. So there's your areas for potential reversal right now on this pullback right now. Again, one of the things that does concern me is kind of the volume characteristic of this, where you do see a nice upthrust in volume right here, telling you that the momentum is to the bulls. You get a nice healthy pullback. That's good. You see a nice upthrust right here on extremely high volume. You see a nice healthy pullback. And unfortunately, on the third pass through, on the third up thrust, you do see a lower volume. Again, coming up into that primary area of resistance, this distribution area right here. So tough to say until we're actually able to get above that level. Definitely an area where you do historically want to be looking to take profits. Definitely too late to enter into the trade. If you're looking at the trade right now, again, I just highlighted those areas where you're looking for price to turn into support. Again, looking at that Fibonacci retracement confluent with those high volume node spikes, looking at that 236, looking at that point of control in between the 382 and the 50% Fibonacci retracement, which is also the point of control. So looking at these high volume nodes, which are congruent with these areas as well, those are areas where you could be looking to enter into the trade once you do get confirmation that the price has reached that area, has bottomed, and is now going back up. Once you've put in a nice swing low, now you have an area where you can actually measure your stop loss from, and you can actually manage your risk far more effectively than just attempting to knife catch a trade. Let's go down to the lower time frames. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. And let's just start looking at the consolidation and the rally for where I want the point of control. Far above, oh, sorry, let's go back to the daily time frame and let's look at what the Fisher's doing. Yeah, unfortunately as well, if you look at our Fisher transform as well, again, we do need to actually wait for this to curl over because it's still ascending and rising. But we are looking at an area where we are going to see a local top, which makes a whole lot of sense to me. And what do we see right here? We had clear confirmation to enter into the trade. Obviously, we had the sell signal right here on the daily time frame. But we see on the daily time frame, the Fisher transform bottom very beautifully above the zero line right there. Very strong call signal right there when you do get that nice bottom above the zero line. Moving up to, let's see here, what is our traditional overbought level right here? Our traditional overbought level has been between 1.5 to 3 standard deviations away from the mean. And that's where we are moving into right now. And if we do top at this level, we will actually see bearish divergence on the daily time frame as well, telling us that we should be looking at this area as a potential taking profit area and be looking to re-enter at these lower time frames. Confirmation that that's not going to happen, that we are going to see an additional up thrust is going to take place on the lower time frames. Again, we haven't had the crossover yet on the 4-hour chart. Actually, yes, we're starting to see that curl right now on the 4-hour chart. So I think the impetus that we're going to see more of an upthrust and less of that pullback to significant areas would be if we are able to stay above our 382 50% area right here. Obviously, our previous resistance area, that's coming in right around 2205. Excuse me, 0.02312, 0.02205. If we're able to close and stay above that resistance range right there, if we get that more aggressive bullish pullback to that area right there and we close above that level, that again, we could see invalidation of that on the daily time frame. Or excuse me, we could see invalidation of that bearish divergence on the higher time frame as well. So time remains to be seen. This definitely looks to me like an area where I would definitely want to be taking profit at this point in time and looking for a pullback. Again, you can always wait to re-enter your long position. If you're able to close a 4-hour candle above this previous 4-hour high right here, the close of this candle was actually 0.02579. You can always wait and be patient, wait for a 4-hour close and for the momentum to return to the bulls. But you do want to be tentative and hesitant. Again, we see the exact same phenomenon here where we have a lot of people that bought in right here at the top. Look at this big volume spike right here. We have a lot of trap buyers / potential sellers at this level. So you actually would want to be even more careful, more cautious, and wait for 4-hour closes above this high. That would be an impetus to re-enter the trade and tell you that the momentum is to the bulls. But ultimately, I would prefer at this point in time, TRX has been such a great trade. You have plenty of time to be patient and wait to see how price responds to this resistance level of 0.028. If we're able to close convincingly above that, most likely moving into a little bit of sideways consolidation, a little bit of a reaccumulation, and then we can look at these higher targets as well. Let's go look at... All right, let's clean up this chart first. And just talk about what we see objectively. All right, so price consolidating on low volume at the point of control, actually beneath the point of control. So that leads me to a bearish bias based upon the fact that we have not been able to close daily candles above the point of control right now. Again, looking at the period of consolidation, we do revert back into a trading into consolidation strategy where we are looking for liquidity plays to the downside or to the upside. Again, since my bias is going to be to the downside on this, I'm actually going to be looking for liquidity plays for actual wick plays to the upside right here. TRX doesn't look fantastically amazing to me right now, or excuse me, XRP doesn't look amazing to me right now, based on the fact generally XRP does move counter to Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin goes up, excuse me, let's actually go look at that because that does change. So I want to go actually look at the correlation. All right, so actually at this point in time, XRP and BTC are almost identically correlated. That's funny. Looking at, well, this is XRP BTC. So XRP BTC highly correlated. So not going to be extremely helpful when looking at the USDT pairing, but just helpful for those of you who are looking at the BTC pairing as well. Let's see what else we are highly correlated with. Last 7 days. Zcash, Zem, Electroneum, NAS, Bitcoin Gold, Dash, Quantum, TNB, EOS. So this is also a fantastic... Oh, shoot, you guys can't even see what I'm doing, can you? There you go. Sorry about that. So here's the correlation for XRP BTC correlation right here. And then we're just looking at the most highly correlated coins to the XRP BTC pairing. So this is another fantastic tool that you guys can use. If you guys do have a, if you guys do see that one coin is rising in bullish sentiment, then you can look for what coins are correlated to it, what coins have not popped off yet, because you would be expecting that the coins that are highly correlated to the coin that you're trading that is showing bullish momentum to follow along in its footsteps. So this is enroyd.com. enroyd.com. Again, that link is in the Discord. Okay, so taking a more wider view of XRP USDT, yes, below the point of control, significantly more below the point of control. If we only take the current range into account, Yeah, if we take the current range into account, still below the point of control, showing a lot of overhead resistance and weakness from the bulls right now on low volume, not seeing that same rising volume. So until I see rising volume and convincing daily closes above the point of control, I feel more confident in looking for liquidity plays to the upside to be looking for short positions right now. Not in a buy zone for me whatsoever. So actually, let's take a nice fib extension. All right. Yeah, so breaking down below that 50% Fibonacci retracement, holding the 618, but not able to close above the 50% retracement either. So that's also congruent with the point of control as well. So below that point of control, below that 50% retracement, feeling bullish sentiment on that as well. Looking at the Fisher transform, what is it telling me also? What do we see? Yep. Dropping down below the zero line as well, which is our secondary bullish call, or excuse me, our secondary bearish put signal actually. And now we're actually looking for, again, I don't want to predict what the Fisher is going to do, but we do see that slight crossover right now on very weak volume. And again, the next thing that I would be expecting to see from this is a retest of the zero line and a potential bottoming beneath it. Again, when we do bottom beneath the zero line, it is a very bearish signal, as we can see right here. When we do bottom below the zero line, we tend to go down into our oversold levels. You can also obviously see that symmetrical pattern kind of playing out right here also as well. Just that price contraction and consolidation. Price contraction and consolidation above the point of control, bullish, guys. Price contraction and consolidation below the point of control, quite bearish. Razor thin, though, man. So no trade zone for me. I'll wait to see which direction the market breaks and look to take the play that way. But definitely leaning more toward the bear side right here. Definitely leaning more toward the bearish side. Let's see if we break this level. The next key area that we have of support coming up, looking at the volume profile and looking at horizontal support and resistance, is going to be putting us around 31 cents. So that's quite a drop. It's about a 14% drop. Hey, Mr. Ether, what's going on, man? Am I still in the lead of Super Chat donations? I think you are, man. I still got to get that ticker up there. Let's scroll down and see. Yes, you are, man. Gabriel, $33.33, and Gotta Watch Crypto at 35. Again, guys, never feel the need or impetus to donate, guys. Obviously, highly appreciated. Helps us keep the lights on here. But if you guys want value for value, man, just keep watching the show. If you guys like what you see, if you guys find helpful trade ideas and information, we appreciate it, man. Stipia, good afternoon. Stipia, do you have an opinion on whether TRX will hold these high levels or will fall back to its low? I don't know if it's going to fall back to its low, but I did an analysis on TRX. If you want to rewind about 15, 20, 25 minutes ago, I do a full TRX analysis where I do actually think that it's topping right now, coming up to a key level of resistance, and most likely will pull back. I charted out 2 or 3 different levels where it will most likely pull back to as well. And we'll also look at LTC USDT. So LTC USDT, actually one of the big winners for me, honestly, for trading. We can actually see that if we go over here to kids, man. Let's see here. Yeah, we can see my entry between $32 and $33. My take profit targets $35.80, $40.25, and $46.90 on my LTC USDT trade. So we were actually able to hit 40.25 earlier today. So that was our take profit too. Next take profit target is quite a bit higher. Let's go to the higher time frames and we can start to scope this baby out. So LTC not looking terribly different from TRX, not looking terribly different than a lot of these altcoins. We have had quite a nice run, and now we've had kind of another leg up, a secondary leg up, whereas TRX has actually had a third leg up. Litecoin's had a secondary leg up, looking like it does need to pull back and blow off a little bit of steam. So again, we do have this current level of consolidation right here, looking at the high volume node. That's actually going to be ranging from $37 to about $38. We'll see if we can find, if we're able to get a pullback just to that level, that would be extremely bullish. Let's actually measure. Let's take a nice fib level of this and see where that would be. Yep, so that would be actually holding up the 236. That would be extremely bullish. The next level that we would look at for re-entry on this is, we have this previous point of control. We have this high volume node in between the 382 and the 50%. That's going to be congruent with previous horizontal support and resistance. So a nice healthy pullback to that area would be a good entry point as well. So that's going to be anywhere between $31, $32, and $33 to $34. Probably managing risk on a breakdown below the point of control and below this high volume node as well, $29.49. So that looks like your next play on LTC as well. But for me, I just have the trailing stop. I've taken significant profits. 35.80 was the first take profit target. 40.25 was the secondary take profit target. So about 66% of the capital is off the table right now, and I just have the rest in a trailing stop. Trailing stop currently at 35.80. So I'll just look to take that profit. If price does fall down to that area, that's still about 12% profit locked in. Still feeling good on that trade. Letting the winner run if we do actually run up to our third take profit target. But if we do actually pull back to these key areas, form a little bit of a bottom, find some support, then I'll be looking to re-enter, because LTC USDT has been a really good trade for us. But we do actually see kind of the same thing. So we have a big up thrust in buying volume right here, and then lowered volume on this next push on the daily time frame as well. So had a little bit of equilibrium yesterday, a little bit of a pullback yesterday. Nice bullish to today. Pushing us all the way up actually into this fib extension right here, and this liquidity pool actually right here on this low right here. So areas where I do look for take profit targets, but it tapped into an LVN, so most likely a stop loss hunt to tap out liquidity, or excuse me, to tap individuals that had their limit orders set right there. So when we're looking at a spot market, the LVNs are not going to act as liquidity pools for people looking to enter in the short or long positions, but they are going to be where institutional order flows are going to be having their limit orders placed to sell. So we do actually need to see price on a daily basis close very strongly above this HVN, kind of stay where it is right now, more than likely going to get a little bit of sideways or pullback consolidation at this level. Does look like an area where LTC does want to kind of cool off a little bit. But we'll see if we can get some more impressive volume coming in. But generally, when you do get a very nice bullish movement like this, you do get somewhat of a significant pullback. So looking at that pullback zone between $32 and $34, previous horizontal support, congruent with the high volume node, and maintaining the momentum above the point of control. Next place is to take profit on the HVN, looking to take profits before we reach, again, so my personal target is 46.90. That's the long-term target for me. But if you were playing this out and you were wanting to take profits before you reach resistance, again, you have this area in between $41 and $42 where you could be looking to take profit before you hit a bump on the high volume node where you will likely run into resistance yet again. All right. What site am I using to see the charts trading to you, man? If Bitcoin fails today, probably dump. Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, sounds good, Mr. Ether. Looking forward to it, man. I will try to throw that on. I've got Scott taking a look at the Streamlabs OBS, getting it all kind of set up, man. What's your top favorite cryptocurrencies going into 2019 and beyond? It's a fantastic coin. You might have heard of it. It's government hard. It's decentralized. It allows for you to pay anybody in the world without censorship. It's called Bitcoin. You guys should probably buy some. It's pretty awesome, pretty fantastic. I like Bitcoin. I get asked this question a lot, man. And, you know, the fact that not a lot of like altcoins come to me like for fundamentally strong reasons is kind of one of the reasons why I just stay where I'm at. I think Bitcoin's going to do very well for me. I will look to speculatively add to my portfolio on some other key alts that I do think are strong. But for the most part, man, I'm going to be pretty much married to Bitcoin, man. I'll let you guys know if my opinion changes on anything. All right, so let's go check in with Mr. Bitcoin here real quick before we pop off. Yeah, there we go. We had that retest of the point of control and a pop above it. Okay, so we maintain a little bit of momentum with the bulls today. For right now, let's see here. We actually don't see. I'm not seeing any of the divergence that you guys are talking about on the hourly chart right here. I do see a little bit of bullish confluence because we do put in a lower low, or excuse me, we put in a low, we put in a higher low, and the oscillator is giving us a higher low as well. Getting a little bit of a cross up here on the hourly Fisher transform. Again, got a lot of trap buyers in this area right here. So we will wait for Bitcoin to violently struggle above that area as well. We also have that descending trend line coming in as well. So I'm on the lookout for a short, guys. I'm on the lookout for a strong short. Definitely on the lookout for a strong short. But in the meantime, I wait patiently until I get confirmation that I should be in my short. So I've seen liquidity plays to the upside. So if this level fails, then yes, we're definitely going back down. We're definitely going back down to at least test the breakout zone right here. It's also going to be that Fibonacci retracement level that I talked about earlier. And then we'll just take it from there, guys. One day at a time, one Satoshi at a time, guys. Calm, patient, slow, easy, no stress trading, guys. That is the method of the day. All right, so I got to hop off of here, man. I got some updates to make to the premium subscribers. We got some day trading to do. Let's hop on over here and talk about how you guys can support the stream. Obviously, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, make sure to feel free to give us a subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can also always be notified when we go live. Again, kind of fell off, had a lot of family issues, but normally we are here live every morning at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, noon on the Eastern Seaboard. We do have some exciting stuff coming up. So today is Tuesday. Tomorrow, Wednesday, from 7 to 9 p.m., I will be having Bitcoin Trading Challenge on to do a live stream in the evening. And then the next day, Thursday evening, 6 to 7 p.m. Central Time, I will be having DigiWarfare from Spectre Security Coin on to talk about the markets and Spectre Security Coin as well, guys. So look forward to those guests. Look forward to those Cryptocurrently evening streams as well. Will not be able to do the morning stream tomorrow. I do have to take my daughter to the doctor, so I will be trying to pop on. Most likely won't be popping on. I'll just be spending the day with the premium trading group, doing the day trading, and then I will keep you guys updated when I come on for the evening stream with Bitcoin Trading Challenge. So if you guys do want to support the stream, make sure to give us a subscription on Twitch. We highly appreciate that. Helps us keep the lights on. Or you can go over to crackingcryptocurrency.com, the third greatest website on the internet. Head on over to the merch store and you can purchase the greatest of all beverage vessels right here. This beautiful, lovely coffee mug right here. You just simply go over to accessories, mugs and drinkware, scroll yourself on down to the Kraken Cryptocurrency HODL mug right there. That's the one right there, baby. That's the one you want. $15.99. Obviously, we do get a small kickback from the sale of the merch. Helps keep the lights on and helps keep me in decent clothes. If you guys want to be 80% more successful in your trading, drinking your morning coffee out of this is scientifically proven to guarantee your results in that fashion and make you 90 to 95% attractive to the opposite sex or the same sex. There's actually a little button here on the back you can click depending on your gender preference. Boom. And again, scientifically proven as well to work. If you guys would like to join the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group, if you guys would like to start off January on the right foot, making good trades, saying goodbye to the bear market, saying goodbye to the losses in your portfolio, for joining the Premium Trading Group, you will get access to our premium trade signals and setups as well from multiple analysts that do work for Kraken Cryptocurrency. You will get access to the premium chat and voice channels. You get access to the members lounge private Discord. You get access to the VIP day trading voice chat. You get access to our premium curated news. Scott curates our news on a daily basis. Get access to technical and fundamental analysis from all the analysts and traders at Kraken Cryptocurrency. One-on-one support and mentorship. You also get access to our webinar series designed to teach you everything you need to become a profitable trader, starting with risk management, starting with introductions to platforms. Again, that series continues to grow, and we are looking at putting out new webinars every week to dive into key areas that I think you need to know as a trader. Let's see here. You will also get access to our resource database library, our live tracking sheet, and your own customizable trading journal so you can keep track of your trades. All right, guys. That's about all I got. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me today. I'm going to have to fix the restream chat. It seems like there is an error with it on the screen. So good thing I've been following along with the normal chat. I won't be a stranger, guys. I won't be a stranger, man. Definitely won't. We'll be coming back on again. Did take that little bit of a sabbatical. Wasn't all my fault, but we are back here for the daily updates, guys. So as always, trade safely, trade smartly. Don't make any irrational decisions, man. Make sure you're waiting for confirmation for your movements. The markets are pretty treacherous right now. Again, rewind the tape if you need to review any of the analysis. And if you have any questions, as always, you can reach us at contact@krakencryptocurrency.com or in the Discord. As always, leave any thoughts, comments, questions, opinions, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.